Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I have the good fortune to be with the Profit Doctor, Ben Hansen. Ben, thanks so much for joining us.
Seth, glad to be here.
All right, let's go back in time. How did you get started? You built, I think, an 8-figure consulting business, and then that turned into Profit Doctor. Take us through the journey.
Absolutely. You know, my early career included a number of startups, but also Dell and Microsoft. And I'll just pull one lesson from there. You know, I worked with a lot of different salespeople at those companies, and I realized there's a big spectrum from all the way at the top to all the way at the bottom. And I realized if you could distill what the top producers are doing and teach it to somewhere between the bottom and the middle, you could get a lot of great results. And then I don't know why I got off on this tangent, but you know, I started a marketing consulting company after I left Microsoft, and we did real well. After about 8 years, we grew from 0 to 100 employees and 13 million in revenue. And then I exited that business, and I just started reflecting on my entrepreneurial journey. And I'm like, how can I help other entrepreneurs succeed in the ways that I succeeded and avoid the pitfalls? And so I kind of went back to, if you will, Entrepreneur University, studying like Tony Robbins and Vern Harnish and EOS and a lot of different things, Michael Gerber. And I just realized that one area that often actually isn't taught from those guys is how to be more profitable. And so that's what I do now. I try to take the lessons, actually I don't try, I take the lessons from top quartile profitability companies, and then I teach those lessons to basically below average profitability companies, typically like 2 to 50 million in revenue. And amazingly, we can help them gain 5 additional points of net profitability, which is $50,000 in revenue in profitability for every $1 million in revenue. We can teach them to add that to their bottom line in 90 days.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. You mentioned online that the previous company eventually ran out of gas despite strong top line growth. What were some of the challenges you faced there that kind of inspired this process?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the things I decided to do pretty early on with my prior company was we really wanted to grow. And ultimately, we put the pedal to the metal and grew about 40% a year every year for about 6 years. And that's how we won 5 Inc. 5000 awards in a row. But one of the things I didn't really take into account when I went into that is I knew that we were going to grow top line fast, and I knew it was going to cost us on bottom line. But what I didn't appreciate is that when we were growing so fast and not paying attention to the bottom line, it also meant we were doing a lot of dumb things. And those dumb things and that friction just started adding up and building up and adding up. And it just kind of sucked the juice out of me. I stopped enjoying coming to work. And so one of the things I love doing with my profit prescription is helping entrepreneurs dump the parts of their business that are sucking the joy from their, everyday going to work. And so what ends up happening is not only does that prescription put money back in their pocket, time on their calendar, but it can really rejuvenate them as we exit, if you will, those soul-sucking parts of the business that are really draining their gas tank.
Absolutely. What are some of the biggest challenges you see your business owner, your clients facing on the profitability side that you're helping them fix? Why aren't we more profitable?
Yeah. I think there's this big profitability myth out there, or let's just call it a business myth. And the myth is that more revenue is always better. Growth is the point of it. And if you just grow, 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 eventually everything will work out. Well, the reality is if you're not funded by Kleiner Perkins or Benchmark, you're not a SaaS company, and you're not going to be a unicorn, which basically defines 98% of every business in the world, if not more. You need to be focusing on cash flow and profitability today. And so, this myth of growth, I think, is the single biggest thing getting in people's way. And so, what we try to help them do is to appreciate, hey, if you improve profitability today, ironically, not only will it help you grow faster tomorrow, but the journey will be a lot less rocky because you'll have money in your pocket. You'll have a more consistent and lean set of offerings in a business that's a lot more fun to run.
Well, fun to run and profitable sound great. Um,
Terrible, right?
you talk about the concept of profititis. What is profititis?
Yes. So the business is called Profit Doctor, profitdoctor.com, if you will. And so we kind of make these medical metaphors to keep it fun. And so profititis is when your top line, your revenue is growing and or in a pretty solid place, but your bottom line tends to be flat or declining. So what I would say is for every business in every industry at every size, let's just say plumbing, $30 million a year. There's a performance curve, and there are those who are on the top half of the profitability curve, and there are those that are at the bottom half. So we help the folks at the bottom half get up to average and then up to that, top quartile pretty quickly.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Now, your less worst and trim 10 strategies are core to your program. We don't want you giving away all the secret sauce, but can you unpack those a little bit for us?
Yes, one of the most important parts of the profit prescription boils down to this idea of stop doing things that are costing you money. It sounds so obvious in the telling, which is why I tell it that way. But so many business owners are doing so many things where they're losing money every time they do it. Arguably, you might say, they're taping $100 bills to every order that they ship out to the customer. In an example like that, maybe they need to stop selling to that customer or they need to stop selling that product because every time they sell it, they're losing money. That would just be an example of how you could make money by not doing something or doing less worst or stop doing the things that cost you money.
That makes a lot of sense. How do you diagnose a business to find its profit leaks?
Absolutely. We actually have a free tool that we're offering, www.profitdoctor.com/leaks, Leaks. And Profit Doctor spelled easy, Profitdoctor. So just the regular way. But we offer this leak detection tool. And the idea is we go through sort of 10 of the biggest areas of almost every business, and we just ask you gut feel. How good are you at not onboarding broken, dumb stuff? And how good are you at quickly exiting broken, dumb stuff? And that usually in about 10 minutes can help the average entrepreneur just look at things or business owner, look at things a little bit differently and just diagnose almost like a triage process. Which of those 10 might be their, two or three Achilles heels?
How do you coach CEOs or founders who are emotionally attached to, doing it all or being part of everything and they're struggling to let go or scale?
Wow. Well, there's like six questions in one there. But I know you delve into things like, mindset and psychology. The first quadrant, if you will, of the profit prescription is what we call profit psychology. And, right out of the Tony Robbins, like mindset mastery stuff and landmark education, the idea is you really got to get things right between your own ears before you can execute them in your business. And one of the things that we show people when we help them identify this like myth around growth and to try to dispel that is they can often appreciate how important it is to focus on profitability. And the way, generally, the fastest path to improving profitability is to exit those parts of the business that are not effective. And step one is you have to exit out of the parts of your business or systems and processes that you are basically dead weight or ballast holding your business back.
You have helped so many companies achieve such a greater level of success. What's your biggest challenge now?
Yeah, my biggest challenge is, we are transitioning right now from being very boutique, helping people one-on-one, almost like concierge medicine, if you will, for profitability. And now we're just scaling that to more like one-to-many group consulting programs. And so we're just getting the word out. We're just sort of starting out. And so we're on podcasts like yours, getting the word out to those business owners that are, sick and tired of, sweating bullets year after year, seeing top line grow, but they're not getting paid. Cash flow tends to be an ongoing issue. And they're like, wait a minute. I used to be the highest paid guy at my old company that made me think I could start my company. And we've grown, but my personal compensation, our net income, is not where I'd like it to be. So we're just getting the word out to those people who are like, I want to learn from the best to quickly get to average and then start accelerating from there.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing?
I am collecting ginormous, full-on life turnaround stories. We've got 5 so far. These aren't 5-point wins, 10-point wins, which are already honestly life-changing. But we've already got 5 20-point wins where we help people generally go from -10 to 10 or break even to 20 points of net profitability. 20 points means for every dollar of revenue, an incremental 20 cents in your pocket every year. And when I hear those stories, boy, it just warms my heart, because I know that not only have we saved that business owner, but that is going to just, from white to black or black to white or whatever you want to call it, complete life-changing transformation for that entire family and everybody who works or is touched by that business.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. For our folks watching and listening who want to learn more, where is the best place for us to send them?
I just say, if you've got a business that you're not certain is top quartile profitability in your industry code, in your size, I just say you're leaving money on the table if you don't go to www.profitdoctor.com. And I'd probably start with /leaks, LEAKS. And again, super simple spelling, PROFIT, and then doctor, DOCTOR, the regular way, for profitability and like a doctor.
Awesome. Well, we will tell everyone to go check out profitdoctor.com/leaks. This has been Seth Greene with the Profit Doctor, Ben Hansen. Ben, thanks again so much for joining us.
Hey, Seth, thanks for having me. And I look forward to helping some of your listeners just completely change their profitability picture, take their game up a notch, help them grow into the future, and just have more cash and fun, along the way.
Well, I'll be the first one to sign up. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Be well and profit. Bye now.
Thanks, everybody.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.